Warning: 3 cosmic events hit in 48 hours. What nobody is telling you about May 14th through 16th. Put everything down. Between Wednesday and Saturday of this week, 3 celestial events will fire in sequence so close together that the sky will not give you time to process one before the next arrives. On May 14th, Mercury enters the heart of the Sun at 24 degrees of Taurus, while Ceres, the ancient mother, sits at the same degree. On the same day, Venus crosses into Gemini and changes the frequency of every relationship in your life. And on May 16th, a new moon at 25 degrees of Taurus locks all of it into a seed that will grow for the next 6 months. 3 events, 48 hours. And the order they arrive is not random. It is a sequence. First, the mind clears. Then desire shifts. Then the earth opens and asks you what you want to plant. Most people will experience these 3 events as separate headlines. Another Cazimi, another new moon, another planet changing signs. But what nobody is connecting is that these 3 events share the same degree of the same sign within the same 48 hours. That does not happen by accident. When the sky concentrates this much energy into this narrow a window, it is not offering options. It is issuing an instruction. Here's what the next few minutes will give you. First, the 3 events broken down in the sequence they arrive, and why the order itself carries meaning your body has already started to register. Second, where this triple event lands in your chart by sign, and which room of your life is receiving 3 knocks on the same door in 2 days. And third, a single practice designed for the exact hours between the first event and the last that allows you to catch what the sky is throwing before it passes. If your throat has felt tight this week, if your hands have been restless, if something in your chest is swelling with a feeling you cannot yet name, stay here. The first event is already in motion, and your body arrived before your mind. The first strike lands on May 14th, Mercury Cazimi. The messenger planet crosses behind the Sun and enters the innermost chamber of the solar disk at 24 degrees of Taurus. For approximately 6 hours, Mercury sits on the throne of the king. The medieval astrologers called this Cazimi, from the Arabic Casamini, in the heart. A planet in Cazimi is not just strong, it is sovereign. Every thought that has been circling your mind for the past 2 weeks, clouded by combustion, thickened by fog, suddenly crystallizes into a single point of undeniable clarity. But this Cazimi does not arrive alone. At the same degree sits Ceres, the dwarf planet that governs nourishment, hunger, and what you have been starving yourself of while pretending you were full. When the messenger meets the mother in the heart of the Sun, the thought that surfaces is not just clear. It feeds something you forgot you needed. The second strike lands on the same day. Venus leaves Taurus, her home sign where she has been comfortable and settled, and steps into Gemini. Venus in Gemini does not love the way Venus in Taurus loves. Taurus love is loyal, patient, rooted. Gemini love is curious, electric, multiple. Venus in Gemini flirts with every possibility. She asks questions instead of making promises. She wants to know what else is available before she commits. And with Uranus already in Gemini, freshly arrived after 84 years, Venus walks into a room that is already vibrating with revolution. Every relationship in your life is about to be examined through a new lens. Not the lens of comfort, the lens of curiosity. Not, do I feel safe, but do I feel alive? The third strike lands 48 hours later. On May 16th, a new moon forms at 25 degrees of Taurus, 1 degree from where Mercury just had its Cazimi, 1 degree from where Ceres was sitting. The new moon is the darkest sky of the month. It is the moment when the moon disappears entirely and the cosmos hands you a blank page. In Taurus, that page is about value, what you are worth, what you are building, what you are willing to commit to for the next 6 months, even if the ground is still settling from everything that has shifted this year. And this new moon sextiles Jupiter in Cancer, the planet of abundance sitting in the sign of its exaltation. That sextile is a door held open, not pushed, held. Jupiter does not force abundance on you. It presents the opportunity and waits to see if you walk through. But here is what most forecasts will miss. Mars and Chiron are conjunct in Aries during this entire sequence. The warrior and the wounded healer standing shoulder to shoulder in the sign of courage. In Greek mythology, Chiron was the centaur who trained every hero from Achilles to Heracles. He taught them how to fight, how to heal, and how to survive. But Chiron carried an incurable wound, a poison arrow lodged in his flesh that could never be removed. He did not stop teaching because he was wounded. He taught from the wound. That is the energy standing behind this 48-hour window. Whatever you plant in the soil of this new moon, you are planting it with hands that know what it costs to begin again. Chiron does not remove the wound. Chiron teaches you to create with the wound still open. That is why whatever you build from this new moon will be stronger than anything you have built before, because you are building it honest. Your body has been preparing for this triple event all week. The throat tightness is Mercury approaching Cazimi, the communication center of your body constricting before it opens. The restless hands are Venus preparing to change signs, the body's instruments of touch recalibrating for a new frequency of contact. And the swelling in your chest, that unnamed expansion beneath your ribs that arrives without warning and disappears before you can name it, is the new moon building in the dark. Your lungs are making room for something your mind has not yet identified. There is also your appetite. It has been shifting. A hunger that food does not satisfy or a sudden loss of interest in meals you normally enjoy. That is Ceres at the Cazimi degree, stirring the body's relationship with nourishment. What you are hungry for this week is not on any menu. These are not separate symptoms. They are one signal arriving through 4 doors. Now let me show you where these 48 hours land in your chart, because 3 events at 24 and 25 degrees of Taurus activate a specific house with triple force. If you were born under Taurus or Taurus rising, all 3 events blaze through your first house. Identity. This is the most concentrated reset you will experience in years. The Cazimi clears the fog around who you are. Venus leaving your sign strips away the comfort of the familiar, and the new moon plants a seed of the person you are becoming. By Sunday, you will not recognize the version of yourself that existed on Monday. Scorpio or Scorpio rising, the 7th house. Partnerships. 3 knocks on the door of your closest relationship. The Cazimi reveals the truth you have been circling. Venus in Gemini rewires your desire, and the new moon offers a fresh beginning in how you love and who you love. The relationship does not end, it transforms. Or it becomes clear that transformation is no longer possible, and that clarity is itself the gift. Leo or Leo rising, the 10th house. Career. 3 events striking the peak of your professional life. The Cazimi delivers a realization about your work so specific it feels like a memo addressed to you personally. Venus shifting brings new connections and professional curiosity. The new moon plants a career seed that Jupiter's sextile will water for months. Aquarius or Aquarius rising, the 4th house. Home. Roots. 3 pulses hitting the foundation of your inner world. Something about where you live or where you belong is crystallizing. The Cazimi names it. Venus shifts the desire. The new moon gives you permission to rebuild. Gemini or Gemini rising. Venus entering your first house is the headline. Your magnetism amplifies. Your curiosity catches fire. People notice you differently starting May 14th. But the Cazimi in your 12th house is doing quieter work, surfacing an unconscious truth that your new attractiveness will need to carry honestly. The new moon seals both frequencies into a single chord. Sagittarius or Sagittarius rising, the 6th house meets Venus in your 7th. Your daily routines receive the Cazimi clarity, while your relationships receive Venus's electric curiosity. The new moon asks whether the life you live every day supports the love you want to receive. Aries or Aries rising, the 2nd house. Value, worth, money. Mars and Chiron conjunct in your 1st house during this sequence means you are being rebuilt from the inside, while the new moon plants seeds of material abundance in the soil of your self-worth. What you believe you deserve determines what grows. Libra or Libra rising, the 8th house. Intimacy. The Cazimi exposes the hidden terms of an emotional contract. Venus entering your 9th house lifts your gaze toward a broader horizon. The new moon asks whether the depth you share with someone matches the direction you are heading. Cancer or Cancer rising, the 11th house. Community. Jupiter sextiling the new moon from your 1st house means the door of opportunity swings open through people. The right connection arrives this week. The Cazimi shows you who to trust. Capricorn or Capricorn rising, the 5th house. Joy. The Cazimi brings clarity to what makes you feel alive. The new moon plants a seed of creative expression that will bloom by autumn. Virgo or Virgo rising, the 9th house. Belief. The Cazimi tests a conviction. Venus amplifies your professional charm. The new moon asks you to commit to a philosophy that matches who you have become. Pisces or Pisces rising, the 3rd house. Communication. The Cazimi sharpens your words. Venus softens your home. The new moon plants a seed in your daily speech, and by November it will have reshaped your closest relationships. Now here is what you do with this. On the morning of May 14th, before the Cazimi peaks, write one sentence on a piece of paper beginning with the words, "I finally see that." Let it complete itself. Fold the paper. On the evening of May 14th, after Venus has entered Gemini, write a second sentence on the other side of the same paper beginning with the words, "What I truly want is." Fold it again. On May 16th, the day of the new moon, unfold the paper. Read both sentences together. One is the truth you see. The other is the desire that truth makes possible. Hold them both. Then place the paper somewhere living. A pot of soil, a windowsill where a plant sits, beneath a glass of water. Let the new moon do what new moons do, germinate in the dark. By November, when the full moon in Taurus arrives and lights up this same degree, open the paper again. What you planted in 48 hours will have grown roots you cannot yet imagine. 3 events, 1 window. First, the mind clears. Then desire shifts. Then the earth opens. The only question left is what you plant. If something stirred while you listened, write it below. Both sentences, the truth and the want. Your honesty becomes the soil for the next person who reads it. Subscribe and turn on the bell because on May 22nd, the sun swallows Uranus in Gemini for the first time in 84 years. And what I will share about that day will reshape the next decade of your life. The universe has spoken. What comes next is in your hands.